Okay, so the tailpipes have been sitting on there for a while, and I do like them. They're going to stay where they are, and so the job was to make the downpipes fit the tailpipes, and I've done it on one side. Now the downpipes are stainless, so I've made these out of stainless steel, and we tried everything. Well, we were trying to bend. We were trying to put bends in and all of this kind of stuff. You have to excuse this, I've been practicing my welding on stainless steel. We tried cutting it and welding it and lots of different ways of doing it. Made special tools. Mandrel, welded to the garage for bending, scaffold pipe, all of this stuff to help us do it. And we couldn't get it to bend nicely here at home without any formers or anything like that. So decided to cut and weld it in the end. So I've made this side, and it's not perfect. It's not brilliant, but it's good enough. I kind of quite like it. It's made by me, so it's going to stay for now. And you can see then, so this will just clamp round there, join there, and then comes out the back like so, and the tailpipe will fit onto here. This is too small for the tailpipe at the minute, but I didn't video me making this, and I've now stuck, because I used all of the spare stainless pipe that I had. I was practicing welding and bending and everything else, so I've just used up every bit I've got. So I've got to make the other side the same as I've made that. I've got no metal at the minute, so I've just got to wait to get a bit more metal to do it. So what I'll do, I'll just video it and show you how I made this side when I make the other side. But in the meantime, if you noticed in the last video, the wheel, look at how rusty these spokes have gone. Terrible, that is. I did mean to lacquer them before I put it on, but the trouble is I've put it on the bike and then just moved on and started on with something else, and they've just sat there and I haven't even noticed. But they're really corroded up, these spokes. So I'm just going to clean up these spokes again, and I'm going to lacquer this wheel to stop it happening again. So that's what I'm going to do while I'm waiting to get some metal. Okay, so let's get on with that. So just cleaning off this rust. It's only surface rust. It hasn't eaten into them at all, thankfully. And I found the best way of doing it. Let me show you just quickly. Like I say, it hasn't been on there very long at all. Hot soapy water and a scourer. Just a quick move around with this. And you can see it just comes straight off. So it's no bother at all. I'm just going to go and wash this all the way around and get all of the horrible stuff off. And then what I'll do is I'll take it outside and do it with a hose pipe and just get all of the soapy, dirty water off of it so it's washed. Okay. Okay, so the wheel's had about 5 coats of lacquer and it's all dried off now. And so what I'm doing now is around the rim. Focus. Round the rim anyway, lots of where I had the masking tape on, there's lots of glue and things like that. So I'm just going around with some Autosol and a bit of cloth and just polishing it all up around the rim. So I'm going to go around the whole rim, polish the rim off, and then we're just going to see how it ages. We'll put it back on the bike and see how this lacquer holds, see if it stops anything else horrible from happening to the wheel. I should have done this. I should have done this the instant I polished the wheel up. Really. But I was just hanging back because I wanted to lacquer a load of bits all at the same time. But yeah, we'll just see. We'll see. So I'll polish the rim up, and then we'll just chuck it back on the bike and leave it and carry on with the rest of the bike, and we'll just keep going back to it and looking at it over the next few months and see what happens to it. Okay, so we're going to make this bit fit that bit, or make that bit join onto that bit. Okay, 38mm pipe this, so we've got some. The reason this is taking us such a long time, I've been waiting for some more metal. I used up all of my 38mm that I had. 38mm stainless steel pipe. And we have to make a sleeve that will fit over here. So this is 38, that's 38, so we need a sleeve that's going to fit perfectly over both. Okay, and we are going to use this little bit here. Okay, so that's stainless as well. So we just cut a section of that off and weld it to that. Okay, let's go. So this is going to be our pipe. This is our sleeve to take it to the down pipe, and I've split this because it's ever so slightly too big. So now then, what I've got to do is weld this onto this. So I've clamped it with the grips here, and I'm just going to weld a little bit round here, and then clamp it a bit further round and weld it so it's tight all the way round. Now I'm welding stainless steel with a MIG here. My welding is not exactly brilliant. I'm going to grind a lot of this weld off. So the most important thing here is to make sure it really penetrates and joins these bits together properly. Okay, so that's what we're going to have a go at. Okay, excuse the messy welding, but where I now cut it, you can see the split is actually a lot closer than a hacksaw weld. So where we've welded it around, we've sort of joined that together. So I'm just going to clamp it a little bit at this end, because it's a little bit wide at this end. Then I'm going to weld it, but not quite to the end. Okay, so around about 3/4 of the way up, I'm going to join that up together. Okay. Okay, so we're just going around it, and I always remember my old metalwork teacher telling me, this was a long time ago, bear in mind, when you were going around a curve, you file it in the opposite way to the curve. So you want to file it like that. Oh, it's so cold in here tonight. It really is. Right, so as determined then before, we couldn't bend the pipe. We tried lots of different ways of bending it. We couldn't do it, so we had got to cut and weld it. And so what we've done then, we have got our sleeve on here now, looking pretty good. And then I've got this angle here. I'm just going to cut across. This will be our first bend. I'm just going to cut that across there. Hacksaw out. Okay, so as you can see, we've cut it off at an angle, and then what I've done is I've just chamfered it down with a grinder. So what I can do now, I can turn this to any place I want. See there, and you see I'll end up with a bend on the pipe, and because there's a chamfer on the pipe, if I fill it up with weld, so stick them together, and then grind it away until it's nearly flat again, I'll still have enough weld in it to hold it together. Okay, so that's the plan. Now, we have already made one side of this. So this is one side, we're just matching it up for the other side. So I just want to make sure the bends are exactly the same. Okay, so I'm just going to match up this bend to be exactly the same as the other side. I'll just weld it together. No, don't look.
You better never let it go.
Shoot.
You only get one shot, you know. It's a chance to go for something.
Once in a lifetime.
You better lose yourself.
So, exhausts finally fitted. Finally fitted. Look at these bad boys. So, side on, then, that's the sort of angle we're having. And from the top, we can go straight down the bike. So from the top, you get the idea of what they look like. On the back, like so. Okay, and they're on there nicely. They look pretty good actually. I like these an awful lot. So, bracket went off of the back of the foot peg here, and we just got a little stainless steel bracket coming up and bolted onto the side on both sides. And because I wanted these sort of straight back rather than kinking out as they quite often do on these bikes a little bit, I've had to make these little pipes here, and these are what have taken so long. This is why this video has been such a long time coming. It's me trying all sorts of different ways to get these bends out of a bit of stainless steel. And you can see lots of attempts of different ways of welding and bending and welding and practicing welding and trying to get it right. But they look pretty good. I'm quite pleased with them. I wasn't sure about them to start with, and I've been looking at them for a little while now, and I like them. I like them so they're staying. Now these exhausts, they've got quite a small outlet on these exhausts, and they have baffles inside them as well. So until we start it up and get the thing running, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with them. We'll probably end up taking the baffles out, I would imagine, and maybe widening out the rear of them just a tiny little bit. But we'll see. We'll see what that's like. Okay, so the exhausts are done anyway, so finally, fantastic. Next job then. So next, now I really want to get some paint around here. When you look at this, all of the linkage is off at the minute. Where is the linkage? All of the linkage for the gear levers and the brakes. But when it's all on there and you look at it, there's just too much metal, too much bare metal and stuff hanging around there. So I need to get some paint on some of this just to make it look a little bit better in my head. Now I've been thinking about this, and I did think the exhausts and the foot pegs were the last thing. However, they're not. What I will need to do is bear with me for one moment. I'm just going to take the tank off. Yes, before I can sort of do any painting on the frame or anything, the battery tray, because obviously this is all part of the frame now. So where the battery's going to fit and sorting out what we're going to do with the underside of this and that. So the subframe fitting the seat unit, wherever I put it, fitting the battery. So fitting the battery, fitting the seat unit, they are the next two jobs. And then once that's done, I reckon then I'll be able to strip it down, clean all of this up and clean the frame up and get some paint. And I really want to get this all cleaned up around here. The wheel, just quickly, where the wheel, the spokes have started to corrode, I actually cleaned them all off again, and I just sprayed them with some lacquer. I should have done it instantly. I should have done it the instant I cleaned it. But it's actually come out very well. And I'm going to try the same thing with the diff, with the rear part here. I'm going to try cleaning that with the sandblaster and then just spraying it with some, I'll get some heat-proof lacquer and just spray it over. And if it works really well on that as well, I think that's probably the way I'm going to go with the gearbox and the engine. But we'll worry about that later. Next things we're going to do are the battery, so mounting a battery on there and getting the seat unit to fit so we can just take it off and put it on in the right place. Okay, speak to you later on.